Hi, my name's Karina, and I made an animation to help visualize some of the pathways of the cerebellum. So the cerebellum is important for integrating massive sensory and other inputs from many regions of the brain and spinal cord, and this information is used to smoothly coordinate ongoing movements and participate in motor planning. So in the cerebellar cortex, there's three layers. There's a molecular layer, there's the Purkinje layer, and then there is the granular layer. So all output from the cerebellar cortex is carried by the axons of Purkinje cells in the Purkinje layer. These synapses at the deep and vestibular nuclei of the cerebellum, and they have an inhibitory signal. Then you have climbing fibers. They come from the contralateral alveolar nucleus, and they directly stimulate the Purkinje cells. And all other inputs to cerebellum go through mossy fibers. These then stimulate the granule cells in the granular layer, which go up to the molecular layer, creating parallel fibers and stimulating with glutamate the Purkinje cells. And they also stimulate other cells, such as basket cells and stellate cells, which then go on to have an inhibitory signal to the Purkinje cells. We also have Golgi cells, which are found in the granule cell layer, and they are stimulated by the parallel fibers of the granule cells, and they provide feedback inhibition directly back onto the granule cells themselves. All these various signals to the Purkinje cells are really important for fine-tuning the output from the cerebellum. So I'm just going to draw out some pathways for the cerebellum, and it's important to remember that a lot of the inputs start and end in the ipsilateral side. So information from the cuneo-cerebellar tract is for information from the upper extremities. And then the dorsal spinocerebellar tract is for information about limb movements from the lower extremities. And they both go through the inferior peduncle into the ipsilateral side of the cerebellum. And then information from descending pathways are given from the spinal cord to the cerebellum through the ventral spinocerebellar tract for the lower extremity. And they cross at the ventral white commissure, and then they go up to the superior cerebellar peduncle. But remember, it has to be ipsilateral side, so it crosses over to the ipsilateral cerebellum. Remember, these are all the inputs that are carried by the mossy fibers, while the climbing would be from the olivary nucleus. So I quickly wanted to go over another major input, which is from the cortex to the cerebellum. So a lot of information from all over the cortex, from the temporal, parietal, occipital, frontal lobes, travel to the ipsilateral pons. And then after synapsing at the pons, there's the pontocerebellar fibers, which travel through the contralateral middle cerebellar peduncle. And they give rise to mossy fibers that stimulate the cerebellar cortex. Alright, thanks for watching my presentation.